I approve this message.
Donald Trump vowing today that he will never drop out of the race, even amid growing calls from some members of the GOP to do so. Joining me now for reaction, Dr. Robert Jeffress, a member of Trump's Faith Advisory Council and also a Fox News contributor. All right, good evening, Pastor. How do you possibly continue to support Donald Trump after the latest audio leak?
Look, make no mistake about it, Judge. His comments were crude, they were offensive, and they are indefensible, but they're still not enough to make me vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, we need to put this in perspective. Last week, I was at Trump Tower, and I moderated a meeting between Mr. Trump and religious leaders. And while he was seated to my left, I said, look, I would probably not choose Trump to be a Sunday school teacher in my church, but that's not what this election is about. We are looking for a leader who can reverse the downward death spiral this nation is in, and I still believe Donald Trump is the best person to do that, in spite of the comments, yes, awful comments, he made 11 years ago, and by the way, for which he has apologized.
Let me ask you this, Pastor. You know, I suspect, and they talk about this a lot in presidential elections, this is some October surprise. But I suspect that there may be other comments that are going to be leaked as WikiLeaks, and this is just my conclusion, as the WikiLeaks continue to pour out. Julian Assange says we've got even more WikiLeaks, which I'll talk about a little later in the show. But what do you say to other evangelicals? I mean, you may feel that, Donald is the best person to run the country, but what about those evangelicals, who've never talked like this or heard these kinds of words?
Well, I don't talk like that, but we all are sinners. Everybody's a sinner, the Bible says. We all need God's forgiveness, and God is able to forgive anyone who asks. But I am, Judge, having a lot of conversations right now with evangelical leaders, and they say, well, Robert, what about character? Doesn't character count? And I say, of course it does. But you're presupposing Hillary Clinton has a superior character to Donald Trump. Here is a woman, Judge, who has deleted 33,000 emails. She has attacked the women who were sexually assaulted by her husband, and she supports the dismembering of babies in the womb through partial birth abortion. That is hardly sterling character. To me, that is the height of immorality.
What do you think that Donald Trump needs to do tomorrow night at this debate? And, how can he overcome, this issue with those who are so offended that they don't even want to vote?
Look, I think he needs to, most of all, and first of all, show genuine contrition and say what he did last night, Judge. He said, this is not the man I am. And by the way, I can testify to that. I've been around him the last year in a number of situations with his family. I've watched him interact with Melania and the children. My wife and I have been with him on several occasions. He is nothing except respectful toward women and toward others. The Donald Trump I know today is not the Donald Trump that was in those tapes 11 years ago. And I think he needs to keep saying what he did last night. I am a changed person, and as your president, I will never do anything to embarrass you.
And Pastor, Hillary Clinton, if she continues to, paint Donald Trump as this kind of person, and I believe that that the debate last week and the reference to Machado was just the tee up for this, so it would look like a cumulative thing. Do you think that she continues to do this kind of thing, and can she turn evangelicals around?
She will never turn the majority of evangelicals toward her. Donald Trump is the only pro-life, pro-religious liberty, pro-conservative justices to the Supreme Court candidate that we have. And by the way, that's what this election is about for conservative Christians, Judge. It's about the Supreme Court. The next president will select or nominate 2 or 3 justices who will shape this nation for generations. And we need justices who will interpret the law using the Constitution and not political correctness. And I just remind my conservative friends, don't lose focus about what this election is about. It's about the Supreme Court and the future of our country.
All right, Pastor Robert Jeffress, thanks so much for being with us. And,
Thank you.
I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks.
Thanks, Judge.
Now, Dr. Jeffress may